Aberration. A departure from what is normal or expected. Abhor. To regard with hatred or disgust. Abject. Experienced or present to the maximum degree. Abnegation. The act of renouncing or rejecting something. Abortive. Failing to produce the intended result. Abridge. To shorten a book or movie without losing sense. Abrogate. To repeal or do away with a law or right. Abscond. To leave hurriedly and secretly to avoid detection. Absolve. To set or declare someone free from blame or guilt. Abstemious. Sparing or moderate in eating and drinking. Abstruse. Difficult to understand or obscure in meaning. Exceed. To agree to a demand, request, or treaty. Accentuate. To make more noticeable or prominent. Accolade. An award or privilege granted as a special honor. Acquiesce. To accept something reluctantly but without protest. Acrimonious. Typical of angry and bitter speech or debate. Acumen. The ability to make good judgments and decisions. Adamant. Refusing to be persuaded or to change one's mind. Adherent. Someone who supports a particular set of ideas. Admonish. To warn or reprimand someone firmly. Adroit. Clever or skillful in using the hands or mind. Adulation. Excessive admiration or praise of a person. Adulterate. To render something poorer in quality. Adverse. Preventing success or development, harmful. Advocate. To publicly recommend or support a cause. Aesthetic. Concerned with beauty or appreciation of art. Affable. Friendly, good-natured or easy to talk to. Affinity. A spontaneous or natural liking for something. Affluence. The state of having a great deal of money. Aggrandize. To increase the power or status of someone. Acrity. Brisk and cheerful readiness to do something. Alleviate. To make suffering or a problem less severe. Allude. To suggest or call attention to indirectly. Altruistic. Showing a disinterested concern for others. Amalgamate. To combine or unite to form one structure. Ambiguous. Open to more than one interpretation, vague. Ambivalent. Having mixed feelings about something. Ameliorate. To make something bad better or improved. Amenable. Open and responsive to suggestion or advice. Amiable. Having or displaying a friendly, pleasant manner. Anachronism. Something out of its proper time period. Analogous. Comparable in certain respects, similar. Anarchy. A state of disorder due to absence of authority. Anathema. Something or someone that one vehemently hates. Animosity. Strong hostility or active hatred. Anomaly. Something that deviates from the standard. Antagonism. Active hostility or opposition. Antecedent. A thing that existed before another. Antediluvian. Ridiculously old-fashioned or ancient. Antipathy. A deep-seated feeling of dislike. Antiquated. Old-fashioned or outdated. Antithesis. A person or thing that is the direct opposite. Apathy. Lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. Apex. The top or highest part of something. Aphorism. A pithy observation that contains a truth. Apocryphal. Of doubtful authenticity, false. Appease. To pacify someone by acceding to demands. Apprehend. To arrest or understand something. Approbation. Approval or praise. Arbitrary. Based on random choice or personal whim. Arcane. Understood by few, mysterious or secret. Archetype. A very typical example of a person or thing. Ardent. Enthusiastic or passionate. Arduous. Involving or requiring strenuous effort. Articulate. Having the ability to speak fluently. Ascetic. Characterized by severe self-discipline. Assiduous. Showing great care and perseverance. Assuage. To make an unpleasant feeling less intense. Astute. Having the ability to accurately assess people. Banal. So lacking in originality as to be boring. Barrage. A concentrated outpouring of something. Barren. Too poor to produce much or any vegetation. Beguile. To charm or enchant in a deceptive way. Behoove. It is a duty or a responsibility for someone. Belie. To fail to give a true impression of something. Belligerent. Hostile and aggressive. Benevolent. Well-meaning and kindly. Benign. Gentle and kindly, not harmful. Bequeath. To pass something on to another. Berate. To scold or criticize someone angrily. Bereft. Deprived of or lacking something. Beseech. To ask someone urgently to do something. Beset. To trouble or threaten persistently. Besiege. To surround with armed forces. Betoken. To be a sign of, to indicate. Bewilder. To cause someone to be confused. Bias. Prejudice in favor of or against one thing. Bifurcate. To divide into two branches. Bizarre. Very strange or unusual. Bland. Lacking strong features or characteristics. Blandishment. A flattering or pleasing statement. Blatant. Done openly and unashamedly. Bleak. Charmless, inhospitable, or dreary. Blight. A thing that spoils or damages something. Blithe. Showing a casual and cheerful indifference. Boisterous. Noisy, energetic, and cheerful. Bolster. To support or strengthen, prop up. Bombastic. High-sounding but with little meaning. Boon. A thing that is helpful or beneficial. Boorish. Rough and bad-mannered. Bounteous. Generously given or plentiful. Bourgeois. Characterized by materialistic values. Bravado. A bold manner intended to impress. Brevity. Concise and exact use of words. Bristle. To react defensively or with offense. Broach. To raise a sensitive topic for discussion. Bucolic. Relating to the pleasant aspects of country life. Buoyant. Able to stay afloat or cheerful. Burgeon. To begin to grow or increase rapidly. Burnish. To polish by rubbing. Buttress. To provide support for, to reinforce. Bygone. Belonging to an earlier time. Byzantine. Excessively complicated or intricate. Cacophony. A harsh discordant mixture of sounds. Cajole. To persuade by flattery or promises. Calamity. An event causing sudden damage or distress. Callous. Showing an insensitive disregard for others. Calumny. The making of false and defamatory statements. Camaraderie. mutual trust and friendship. Candor, the quality of being open and honest. Canonical, included in the list of sacred books. Capitulate, to cease to resist an opponent. Capricious, given to sudden changes of mood. Captious, tending to find fault or raise petty objections. Captivate, to attract and hold the interest of. Castigate, to reprimand someone severely. Catalyst, a person or thing that precipitates change. Categorical, unambiguously explicit and direct. Catharsis, the process of releasing strong emotions. Caustic, able to burn or corrode. Sarcastic. Cavalier, showing a lack of proper concern. Offhand. Cede, to give up power or territory. Celerity, swiftness of movement. Celestial, positioned in or relating to the sky. Censorious, severely critical of others. Censure, the expression of formal disapproval. Cerebral, intellectual rather than emotional. Chagrin, distress at having failed or been humiliated. Charlatan, a person falsely claiming special knowledge. Chary, hesitant to take risks, cautious. Chasm, a deep fissure in the earth or rock. Chastise, to rebuke or reprimand severely. Chauvinism, aggressive or exaggerated patriotism. Chicanery, the use of trickery to achieve a purpose. Chide, to scold or rebuke. Chimerical, hopelessly or wildly fanciful. Choleric, bad-tempered or irritable. Chronic, persisting for a long time. Chronological, recorded in order of occurrence. Churlish, rude in a mean-spirited way. Circuitous, longer than the most direct way. Circumlocution, use of many words where fewer would do. Circumscribe, to restrict something within limits. Circumspect, wary and unwilling to take risks. Circumvent, to find a way around an obstacle. Clandestine, kept secret or done secretively. Clemency, mercy, lenience. Cliché, a phrase that is overused and lacks impact. Coalesce, to come together to form one mass. Cogent, clear, logical, and convincing. Cognizant, having knowledge or being aware of. Coherent, logical and consistent. Cohesion, the action of forming a united whole. Collusion, secret agreement for a legal purpose. Colossal, extremely large. Commensurate, corresponding in size or degree. Commodious, roomy and comfortable. Compelling, evoking interest or attention. Compendium, a collection of concise information. Complacent, showing uncritical satisfaction with self. Complaisant, willing to please others. Complement, a thing that completes something else. Compliant, inclined to agree with others. Complicity, the state of being involved in wrongdoing. Comprehensive, including all or nearly all elements. Compunction, a feeling of guilt or moral scruple. Concede, to admit that something is true. Conceivable, capable of being imagined. Conciliatory, intended to placate or pacify. Concise, giving information clearly in few words. Conclusive, having or serving to end doubt. concomitant, naturally accompanying or associated. Condone, to accept and allow behavior to continue. Conducive, making a certain situation likely. Confluence, the junction of two rivers or events. Confound, to cause surprise or confusion in someone. Congeal, to solidify or coagulate. Congenial, pleasant because of shared interests. Conjecture, an opinion formed on incomplete info. Connive, to secretly allow something wrong. Connoisseur, an expert judge in matters of taste. Connotation, an idea or feeling a word invokes. Consanguineous, relating to people descended from same ancestor. Consecrate, to make or declare something sacred. Consensus, a general agreement. Conspicuous, standing out so as to be clearly visible. Consternation, feelings of anxiety or dismay. Construe, to interpret a word or action in a way. Consummate, showing a high degree of skill. Contentious, likely to cause an argument. Conundrum, a confusing or difficult problem. Converge, to come together from different directions. Convivial, friendly, lively, and enjoyable. Convoluted, extremely complex and difficult to follow. Copious, abundant in supply or quantity. Corroborate, to confirm or give support to a theory. Corrosive, tending to cause corrosion. Coterie, a small group of people with shared interests. Countenance, a person's face or facial expression. Countervail, to offset the effect of something. Covert, not openly acknowledged or displayed. Cower, to crouch down in fear. Credulity, a tendency to be too ready to believe. Crescendo, a gradual increase in loudness. Criterion, a principle by which something is judged. Crucial, decisive or critical. Cryptic, having a meaning that is mysterious. Culpable, deserving blame. Culmination, the highest or climactic point. Culpability, responsibility for a fault or wrong. Cumbersome, large or heavy and therefore difficult. Cumulative, increasing by successive additions. Cupidity, greed for money or possessions. Cursory, hasty and therefore not thorough. Curtail, to reduce in extent or quantity. Cynical, believing that people are motivated by self-interest. Daunt, to make someone feel intimidated. Dauntless, showing fearlessness and determination. Dearth, a scarcity or lack of something. Debacle, a sudden and ignominious failure. Debase, to reduce in quality or value. Debunk, to expose the falseness of a myth. Decorous, in keeping with good taste and propriety. Decorum, behavior in keeping with good taste. Decrepit, worn out or ruined because of age. Decry, to publicly denounce. Deduce, to arrive at a fact by reasoning. Defame, to damage the good reputation of. Deference, humble submission and respect. Deferential, showing respect. Defiant, showing open resistance or bold disobedience. Deficient, not having enough of a specified quality. Definitive, done with authority and finality. Deflect, to change direction after hitting something. Deft. Neatly skillful and quick in one's movements. Defunct. No longer existing or functioning. Degenerate. Having lost the physical or mental qualities. Degrade. To lower the character or quality of. Deify. To worship or treat like a god. Deign. To do something one considers beneath them. Deleterious. Causing harm or damage. Delineate. To describe or portray precisely. Delinquent. Showing a tendency to commit crime. Delude. To impose a misleading belief on. Deluge. A severe flood. Demagogue. A political leader who seeks support by lies. Demean. To cause a severe loss in the dignity of. Demise. A person's death. Demolish. To pull or knock down a building. Demur. To raise doubts or show reluctance. Demure. Reserved, modest, and shy. Denigrate. To criticize unfairly, disparage. Denote. To be a sign of, indicate. Denounce. To publicly declare to be wrong. Depict. To show or represent by a drawing. Deplete. To use up the supply or resources of. Deplorable. Deserving strong condemnation. Deplore. To feel or express strong disapproval. Depravity. Moral corruption, wickedness. Deprecate. To express disapproval of. Depreciate. To diminish in value over a period. Derelict. In a very poor condition as a result of disuse. Deride. To express contempt for, ridicule. Derisive. Expressing contempt or ridicule. Derivative. Imitative of the work of another person. Derogatory. Showing a critical or disrespectful attitude. Desecrate. To treat a sacred place with disrespect. Desiccate. To remove moisture from, dry out. Desolate. Deserted of people and in a state of bleakness. Despondent. In low spirits from loss of hope. Despot. A ruler or other person who holds absolute power. Destitute. Without the basic necessities of life. Desultory. Lacking a plan, purpose, or enthusiasm. Detached. Separate or disconnected. Deterrent. A thing that discourages someone. Detract. To diminish the worth or value of. Detrimental. Tending to cause harm. Deviate. To depart from an established course. Devoid. Entirely lacking or free from. Devout. Having or showing deep religious feeling. Dexterous. Showing or having skill in the hands. Diatribe. A forceful and bitter verbal attack. Dichotomy. A division between two things. Didactic. Intended to teach, particularly in having moral instruction. Diffident. Modest or shy because of a lack of confidence. Diffuse. Spread out over a large area. Digress. To leave the main subject in speech. Dilatory. Slow to act. Dilettante. A person who cultivates an area of interest. Diligent. Having or showing care in one's work. Diminutive. Extremely or unusually small. Discern. To perceive or recognize. Discomfit. To make someone feel uneasy or embarrassed. Discordant. Disagreeing or incongruous. Discrepancy. A lack of compatibility or similarity. Discretion. The freedom to decide what should be done. Discursive. digressing from subject to subject. Disdain, the feeling that someone is unworthy of respect. Disparage, to regard or represent as being of little worth. Disparate, essentially different in kind. Dispassionate, not influenced by strong emotion. Dispel, to make a doubt or feeling disappear. Dispensation, exemption from a rule or usual requirement. Disseminate, to spread information widely. Dissent, the expression of disagreement with ideals. Dissident, a person who opposes official policy. Dissolution, the closing down or dismissal of an assembly. Dissonance, lack of harmony among musical notes. Dissuade, to persuade someone not to take an action. Distend, to swell or cause to swell by pressure. Divergent, tending to be different or develop in directions. Divulge, to make private or sensitive information known. Docile, ready to accept control or instruction. Dogmatic, inclined to lay down principles as incontrovertibly true. Dormant, having normal physical functions suspended. Dour, relentlessly severe, stern, or gloomy in manner. Dubious, hesitating or doubting. Duplicity, deceitfulness, double dealing. Duress, threats or violence used to coerce. Ebullient, cheerful and full of energy. Eccentric, unconventional and slightly strange. Eclectic, deriving ideas from a broad range of sources. Eclipse, a loss of significance or power. Edify, to instruct or improve morally or intellectually. Efface, to erase a mark from a surface. Effectual, successful in producing a desired result. Effervescence, bubbles in a liquid. Effete, affected, over-refined and ineffectual. Efficacious, successful in producing a desired result. Effigy, a sculpture or model of a person. Effrontery, insolent or impertinent behavior. Effusive, expressing feelings of gratitude in an unrestrained way. Egalitarian, relating to the principle that all are equal. Egregious, outstandingly bad, shocking. Elated, ecstatically happy. Elegy, a poem of serious reflection, typically for the dead. Elicit, to evoke or draw out a response. Eloquent, fluent or persuasive in speaking. Elucidate, to make something clear, explain. Elusive, difficult to find, catch, or achieve. Emaciated, abnormally thin or weak. Emanate, to issue or spread out from a source. Embargo, an official ban on trade. Embed, to fix an object firmly in a mass. Embellish, to make a statement more interesting with details. Embezzle, to steal money placed in one's trust. Embroil, to involve someone in an argument. Eminent, famous and respected in a sphere. Emissary, a person sent on a special mission. Emollient, having a quality of soothing the skin. Empathy, the ability to understand others' feelings. Empirical, based on observation rather than theory. Emulate, to match or surpass a person. Enamored, be filled with a feeling of love for. Encapsulate, to express the essential features of. Encomium, a speech or piece of writing that praises highly. Encompass, To surround and have or hold within. Encroach. To intrude on a person's territory. Encumber. To restrict or burden in such a way. Endemic. Regularly found among particular people. Endorse. To declare one's public approval of. Enervate. To cause someone to feel drained of energy. Enfranchise. To give the right to vote to. Engender. To cause or give rise to a feeling. Enigma. A person or thing that is mysterious. Enigmatic. Difficult to interpret or understand. Enmity. The state or feeling of being actively opposed. Ennui. A feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction. Enormity. The great or extreme scale of something. Ephemeral. Lasting for a very short time. Epitome. A person or thing that is a perfect example. Equanimity. Mental calmness, composure. Equitable. Fair and impartial. Equivocal. Open to more than one interpretation. Eradicate. To destroy completely, put an end to. Erratic. Not even or regular in pattern. Erroneous. Wrong, incorrect. Erudite. Having or showing great knowledge. Esoteric. Intended for or likely to be understood by few. Espouse. To adopt or support a cause. Esteem. Respect and admiration. Estrange. To cause someone to be no longer close. Ethereal. Extremely delicate and light. Euphemism. A mild word substituted for one too harsh. Euphony. The quality of being pleasing to the ear. Evanescent. Soon passing out of sight or memory. Exacerbate. To make a problem or bad situation worse. Exacting. Making great demands on one's skill. Exalt. To hold someone in very high regard. Exasperate. To irritate or frustrate intensely. Exculpate. To show or declare that someone is not guilty. Execrable. Extremely bad or unpleasant. Exemplary. Serving as a desirable model. Exempt. Free from an obligation or liability. Exhilarating. Making one feel very happy or animated. Exhort. To strongly encourage or urge someone to do. Exigent. Pressing or demanding. Exonerate. To release someone from a duty or blame. Exorbitant. Unreasonably high price or amount. Exotic. Originating in or characteristic of a distant land. Expedient. Convenient and practical, although improper. Expedite. To make an action happen sooner. Expiate. To atone for guilt or sin. Explicate. To analyze and develop an idea in detail. Explicit. Stated clearly and in detail. Exponent. A person who supports an idea or belief. Expunge. To erase or remove completely. Expurgate. To remove matter considered offensive. Extant. Still in existence, surviving. Extemporaneous. Spoken or done without preparation. Extenuating. Making an offense seem less serious. Extirpate. To root out and destroy completely. Extol. To praise enthusiastically. Extort. To obtain by force, threats, or other means. Extraneous. Irrelevant or unrelated to the subject. Extravagant. Lacking restraint in spending money. Extricate. To free someone from a constraint or difficulty. Extrinsic. not part of the essential nature of someone. Exuberant, filled with or characterized by energy. Exult, to feel or show triumphant elation. Fabricate, to invent or concoct, typically with deceit. Facade, the principal front of a building, a false show. Facetious, treating serious issues with inappropriate humor. Facile, appearing neat and comprehensive only by ignoring. Facilitate, to make an action or process easy. Faction, a small organized dissenting group within a larger. Fallacious, based on a mistaken belief. Fallible, capable of making mistakes or being wrong. Fallow, plowed but left unsown to restore fertility. Falter, to start to lose strength or momentum. Fanaticism, the quality of being fanatical. Fastidious, very attentive to and concerned about detail. Fathom, to understand a difficult problem after much thought. Fatuous, silly and pointless. Fawning, displaying exaggerated flattery or affection. Feasible, possible to do easily or conveniently. Feckless, lacking initiative or strength of character. Fecund, producing or capable of producing abundant growth. Feign, to pretend to be affected by a feeling or injury. Felicitous, well chosen or suited to the circumstances. Fervent, having or displaying a passionate intensity. Fervor, intense and passionate feeling. Fester, to become rotten and offensive to the senses. Fete, a celebration or festival. Fetid, smelling extremely unpleasant. Fetter, to restrain with chains or manacles. Fiasco, a thing that is a complete failure. Fickle, changing frequently, especially as regards loyalties. Fidelity, faithfulness to a person, cause, or belief. Figurative, departing from a literal use of words. Finesse, intricate and refined delicacy. Fiscal, relating to government revenue, especially taxes. Flagrant, conspicuously or obviously offensive. Flamboyant, tending to attract attention because of confidence. Flaunt, to display something ostentatiously. Fledged, having acquired the feathers necessary for flight. Flippant, not showing a serious or respectful attitude. Florid, having a red or flushed complexion. Flout, to openly disregard a rule or law. Fluctuate, to rise and fall irregularly in number. Foible, a minor weakness or eccentricity in character. Foment, to instigate or stir up an undesirable course. Forage, to search widely for food or provisions. Forbearance, patient self-control, restraint and tolerance. Foreboding, fearful apprehension, a feeling that something bad. Foreshadow, to be a warning or indication of a future event. Formidable, inspiring fear or respect through being large. Fortitude, courage in pain or adversity. Fortuitous, happening by accident or chance rather than design. Foster, to encourage the development of something. Fractious, irritable and quarrelsome. Fraught, caused by or filled with anxiety or stress. Frivolous, not having any serious purpose or value. Frugal, sparing or economical with regard to money. Fulminate, to express vehement protest. Furtive, attempting to avoid notice, typically because of guilt. Futile, incapable of producing any useful result. Gainsay, to deny or contradict a fact or statement. Galvanize, to shock or excite someone into taking action. Gambit, a device, action, or opening remark to gain advantage. Gargantuan, enormous. Garish, obtrusively bright and showy. Garner, to gather or collect. Garrulous, excessively talkative, especially on trivial matters. Gauche, lacking ease or grace, unsophisticated. Gaudy, extravagantly bright or showy, typically so as to be tasteless. Generic, characteristic of or relating to a class. Genial, friendly and cheerful. Genre, a category of artistic composition. Germane, relevant to a subject under consideration. Gestation, the process of carrying in the womb. Ghastly, causing great horror or fear. Jibe, an insulting or mocking remark, a taunt. Glib, fluent and voluble but insincere and shallow. Gluttony, habitual greed or excess in eating. Goad, to provoke or annoy someone into action. Gourmand, a person who enjoys eating and often eats too much. Grandiose, impressive or magnificent in appearance. Gratuitous, uncalled for, lacking good reason. Gravity, extreme importance, seriousness. Gregarious, fond of company, sociable. Grievance, a real or imagined wrong as a cause for complaint. Grimace, an ugly, twisted expression on a person's face. Grotesque, comically or repulsively ugly or distorted. Guile, sly or cunning intelligence. Guileless, devoid of guile, innocent and without deception. Gullible, easily persuaded to believe something. Hackneyed, lacking significance through having been overused. Haggard, looking exhausted and unwell, especially from fatigue. Halcyon, denoting a period of time that was idyllically happy. Hallowed, honored as holy. Hapless, unfortunate. Harangue, a lengthy and aggressive speech. Harass, to subject to aggressive pressure or intimidation. Harbinger, a person or thing that announces the approach of another. Hardy, capable of enduring difficult conditions. Haughty, arrogantly superior and disdainful. Haven, a place of safety or refuge. Havoc, widespread destruction. Hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure, sensual self-indulgence. Hegemony, leadership or dominance, especially by one country. Heinous, utterly odious or wicked. Herald, a messenger bringing news. Heresy, belief or opinion contrary to orthodox doctrine. Hermetic, complete and airtight, insulated from influences. Heterogeneous, diverse in character or content. Heyday, the period of a person's or thing's greatest success. Hiatus, a pause or gap in a sequence, series, or process. Hibernal, relating to or occurring in winter. Hierarchy, a system in which members are ranked by status. Hilarity, extreme amusement, especially when expressed by laughter. Hindrance, a thing that provides resistance or delay. Histrionic, excessively theatrical or dramatic in character. Hoary, Grayish-white, typically as if with age. Hoax. A humorous or malicious deception. Holistic. Characterized by the belief that parts are interconnected. Homage. Special honor or respect shown publicly. Homogeneous. Of the same kind, alike. Hone. To sharpen a blade or refine a skill. Hostility. Hostile behavior, unfriendliness or opposition. Hubris. Excessive pride or self-confidence. Humanitarian. Concerned with human welfare and charity. Hypocrisy. The practice of claiming to have moral standards. Hypothetical. Based on a suggested idea or theory. Iconoclast. A person who attacks cherished beliefs. Idiosyncrasy. A mode of behavior peculiar to an individual. Idolatrous. Treating someone or something as an idol. Ignominious. Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame. Illicit. Forbidden by laws, rules, or custom. Illusion. A thing that is wrongly perceived by the senses. Illusory. Based on illusion, not real. Immaterial. Unimportant under the circumstances, irrelevant. Immutable. Unchanging over time or unable to be changed. Impeccable. In accordance with the highest standards, faultless. Impecunious. Having little or no money. Impede. To delay or prevent by obstructing. Impediment. A hindrance or obstruction in doing something. Imperative. Of vital importance, crucial. Imperious. Assuming power or authority without justification. Impermeable. Not allowing fluid to pass through. Impertinent. Not showing proper respect, rude. Impervious. Unable to be affected by. Impetuous. Acting or done quickly without thought. Impiety. Lack of respect for God or religion. Implacable. Unable to be placated, relentless. Implausible. Failing to convince, unlikely. Implicate. To show that someone is involved in a crime. Implicit. Suggested though not directly expressed. Implore. To beg someone earnestly or desperately. Importunate. Persistent, especially to the point of annoyance. Importune. To ask someone pressingly and persistently. Imposing. Grand and impressive in appearance.